and namaskar to all. You see, I am in fact in a great difficulty because the previous speakers have taken the tempo high and up, and I think there is no more room left for me to take the movement further. But still, I'll try, and let us try. Whatever he has told, and there is much more in the book, and much more shocking things are in the book. And I expect you all to read it. He rightly said that we were in a function like similar function someplace, and he asked me about the investigations, and I told him that as of now there is the web series part 1, part 2, so we are waiting for the next kind of thing. I think I had replied to you. Now these things I have been telling, these investigations, theories, and what is happening, I have been telling, but I am happy that that seed became a sapling through this book, and I hope that there are so many other things, and we need to grow so many trees, that we need forests, that this is actually happening. I will just take you through some other instances. Keep aside this case. I'll just ask ourselves a question. How many of us know one Mr. Maulana Hussain Haji Ibrahim Umarji? I guess nobody knows. I'll repeat the name once. Just keep in your mind Maulana Muhammad Umarji. One. Then I will again ask if anybody knows one Jayanti Bhai Gohil and his son Ramesh Bhai Gohil. I know the answer is again 100% no. Nobody knows. Now I'll ask the third name. Anybody of us have any time heard Stan Swami? Yes. Now I will tell you what happens. This first name which I took, Maulana Hussain Haji Ibrahim Umarji, was a person named as a mastermind in the Godhra train massacre where 60 car sevaks were burnt alive. Police said he is the mastermind. What happened next? He was acquitted. And nobody talks about it. Nobody knows about it. Godhra train burning gave birth to, as far as the police says, or as far as those theories are in the loop, they say that this gave a reaction, and there were so many cases, so many riots going on in entire Gujarat. We must have heard, we must have read about those things. When one mastermind who can be said to be the principal man or the basic cause to have set the chain in motion, set the reaction in motion, goes scot free, nobody talks about it, nobody knows about it. At the same time, what happens on the other side? These two persons which I asked you about, Jayanti Bhai Gohil and Ramesh Bhai Gohil, died inside jail. They were accused in Best Bakery case. Now this is a peculiar case. I'm just drawing the contrast. These people were arrested by Gujarat police. The trial went on in the Sessions Court. They were acquitted. The acquittal was confirmed by the High Court. Then Tista Setalwad, National Human Rights Commission, mind you, National Human Rights Commission, in the entire history of National Human Rights Commission, I think that is the only case where National Human Rights Commission goes to Supreme Court, files a SLP. My lord, see what kind of injustice is going on. There are no injustices happening in the rest of the country, only Gujarat. And Supreme Court immediately hears it and transfers the Best Bakery case, which was, the acquittal was confirmed by the High Court. Reinvestigation, retrial. Now I understand, now many of us are non-advocates, so some terms may be difficult for us to understand. I understand, but that's my limitation also. Let us again have a discussion on it. We'll talk on this because this is talked about. Now this reinvestigation, retransfer comes to Mumbai, Mumbai Session Court. One session judge, Mr. Abhay Thipse, hears the case, acquits some, convicts some, which again goes to High Court. Mind you, this Abhay Thipse later on, he became High Court judge, and after retirement, he joined Congress. I'm just putting the facts. Now what happens? These two people which I'm again naming, Ramesh Bhai Gohil and Jayanti Bhai Gohil, were of the four accused which they said were not traceable. in that case, Best Bakery 2001 case, they were arrested in Ajmer Blast case 2010. 2010 onwards, by this time, this trial was over. These only four persons were to be tried by Mumbai court, but nobody had interest to try them. They were inside the jail. It went on, and these two people died inside jail, waiting for justice. But nobody knows. There is yet another name, Sham Sahu. I am also in Malegaon Blast 2008 case. What happens? Sadhviji was attacked by a female prisoner inside the jail on the exact religious grounds. And when he comes in the court and looks at Sadhviji and the other persons, he gets so serious, so traumatized, he gets a heart attack, he dies in the court. Nobody else of knows this. Nobody bring these things to us. This is what is happening. And now let us come to Stan Swami, the much celebrated case. I am not celebrating the murder, I am not talking about it. But there are certain questions which are never being asked. When such things like Best Bakery are looked upon in a microscopic way, the other cases are just let go and we just read the papers and we are trained to read and to believe what we read and forget what we read. We are trained. And this training comes out of a kind of terrorism which I'll talk about later, but let us go to Stan Swami. They say he was a Catholic. He was a priest, ordained priest. He was a Jesuit. So his job was to teach Christianity. But then he goes to Bhima Koregaon protest sabhas and he addresses people. Bhai, the first question should have been, how a priest is going to such meetings and protesting about Bhima Koregaon. But nobody, did you ever feel asking this question? Nobody else, nobody of us, because we are trained not to question. We are trained to believe whatever comes in the media. Second question was, if, now let us again come back to Bhima Koregaon. We all know Bhima Koregaon case, heard 100 times in the media. What is Bhima Koregaon case? The case is basically to topple the government, to fight the government, and to create a revolution in the nation. So do we know this? We only know Bhima Koregaon. There is a case named Bhima Koregaon. That's all. See how the impressions are being made in our minds. So it starts from here, and then in such a case, if such a Catholic priest is arrested and the NIA says that there are evidences, did anybody ask a question? Oh, then it must be white terrorism. If there is a green terrorism, if there is a saffron terrorism, then what kind of other color remains? Did anybody ask this question? No. Nobody is talking about this. What happens next? His death or his illness or his age was much talked about. We must have read about that. How he died, sir? He was not given bail. He was sent to a hospital, a Christian hospital. And then all of a sudden they say in the hospital he got corona and he died out of COVID. Now the question is, if he died of COVID, where he contacted it? In the jail or in the hospital? Because nobody says, it's no one's case. You just go through all newspapers, you just Google it, you will get it. Nobody says it was in jail. So the question is whether it was in hospital. And if it was in hospital, how it happens? How could it have happened? He was for a treatment. And you find on Google that another priest goes to his bed, clicks a photograph with him, and it's shared on Twitter. He was not on bail. He was in police custody. How somebody is allowed to meet him in that hospital? But we are not supposed to ask such kind of questions, sir. Now I'll come back to this case, and I will tell you the reason why I said that this may be a sapling. I'm daring to say this because already what he has done is great, is remarkable. But still, as an advocate, I must say that we must need such people, we must need such books to come ahead and ask questions and raise questions and answer their questions. I'll again come back to this. Now, whether this COVID contacting in hospital and his death was another conspiracy in the conspiracy, you think, sir, now there are certain dots which I am trying you to connect. But if you connect these dots, does it need investigation? It obviously needs, but nobody is talking about it. Now, this case, they say that these four people were murdered. Of course, nobody here is celebrate any murder. Nobody is. But then you just close your eyes and look back for the last 10 years, exactly around 10 years. It started from 28th August 2013, if I mistake not. If I mistake not. So last 10 years, all leading newspapers, all leading regional channels, national channels, English media channels, we have been hearing about these cases, right? Right? So an impression is created. Those 65 award Wapsi series started off these four murders, if you recollect. So an impression was created that in the nation after independence, Gandhi was murdered by Nathuram Godse. Oh, he was a terrorist. He was such a bad thing. Thereafter, it was all silent. It was all peace. We are so peace-loving people. There was nothing wrong, no violence. And it came to down to 2013, and Dabholkar was murdered. 2015, oh, see, Pansare was murdered, Kalburgi was murdered. 2017, we cannot live in this nation. This is all violence. This is all difficult. Is it not the way the rhetoric was carried? Is it not? Am I quoting something out of context? Then, my friends, one day I asked myself a question and I want to ask it to you. And let me say that let this question haunt you, let the book haunt you, let your nights be sleepless, let your discussions have every time coming a reference to these cases and these questions. Because the question is, if these four murders have created such a difficult situation in the country, let us say for the sake of arguments that these four communists were murdered by some people and for their thoughts. Let us say for the sake of arguments. But then let us draw a comparison. And the comparison is, how many people were murdered by communists, sir, in the country? Do we have any statistics on it? Are we ever given a chance to think about it? I'm not asking you to humiliate you, my friends. But let us go back to our mind, to our memory, and to our intelligence. Whether we were given a chance, one day I found out for myself that keep aside all the communists, keep aside the communist government in West Bengal, in Kerala, or such other places, or the communist party people, keep them aside. There are so many factions inside. I will just talk of Naxalites. Naxalites are nobody else but communists. Am I clear on that? Now, only Naxalites, the number of murders committed by Naxalites is more than 40,000 and still growing. Just 2 days back, I think they killed 10 people. And mind you, those 10 policemen, out of these 10, 5 were ex-Naxals. They had turned back to the main fold and they said, no, we want to fight them back. This is rogue, this is wrong. And they were murdered. So what these people who are crying out day and night and aloud that these see the state of affairs, are they ever uttering a single word, a single comma, a full stop for these murders? No. And they are making us to believe that this will happen. This is routine. See, this happens, no, but we are not believing in them. A communist will never condemn a Naxal. They will say, we are communists, they are Naxals, we are different. This is the way they want you to see them. But that's wrong. They will never talk about it. And then I realized that this is nothing else but a, 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 a type of terrorism, and this is intellectual terrorism. They want you to believe only those things which are comfortable for them. They want you to see only those things which they want to see you, and rest, then you are not a citizen, you are not going by the constitution, and this and this and this, all those things. And therefore I said such books is a need of the hour. I congratulate him, but at the same time, let these questions, what happened in Bhima Koregaon, what happened in Best Bakery case. Best Bakery case, there are two people who are inside the jail for the last 13 years. And we went to the High Court. Sir, we are inside, the case is not going on. And there are hundreds of cases where only because of delay, the court is inclined to grant bail. So kindly give us bail. Oh, this is Best Bakery case. You wait. And in the meanwhile, Shah Rukh Khan's son gets bail, Sudha Bharadwaj gets bail, and many other. But Best Bakery, oh, no, then the trial will end. No, you wait. You can wait. You wait. This kind of answers we are getting. And therefore I said, he has taken up a step to exactly fill in that void, to vacuum. And we need, and I must also say something about Ketkiji. It's the same thing that no, we will not tolerate this intellectual terrorism. The message was, if I mistake not, your message also was loud and clear. I will not tolerate it. So, as an advocate, many of us here are advocates, sir. My senior, about whom he talked, Sanjeev Punalekar, from whom I learnt a lot and I am still learning, one day had told me that, see Virendra, these files we have in the office, these are not files, these are not sources to earn money, these are pains. These are somebody's problems, some family problems, some life-related problems, and we are supposed to heal them. But at the same time, an advocate, what he does is, once he closes the file, he keeps the pain aside, he goes to a normal life. As a advocate trying to devote to the cause, these scars, these pains remain with us. And I want to share, and I wanted to share those with you, so that we take this pain ahead and some positive, some good things come out of it. And this, I think, will be a beginning of retaliation of this intellectual terrorism. With this, I end my short speech. Thank you.